G'day everybody, welcome back to Albatross Barbecue. So today we've got ourselves a blade roast, otherwise known as a beef shoulder. You can call it a chuck, up to you. But these cuts of meat, they're beautiful for pulled beef. So let's get cracking. So here we've got our piece of meat. It's not very big, it's only small, it's less than a kilo. However, it's got some beautiful intermuscular fat, hardly any trimming, actually no trimming that I need to worry about for this cook whatsoever. There's lots of different cuts in the chuck, but this is the top blade. My rub today has some cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. It has some white pepper, black pepper, as well as some salt. I'm just going to transfer this into my shaker. As usual, I like to use a little bit of mustard for my binder, so just apply a small amount on each side. Now grab your rub and just simply sprinkle it all over your cut of meat. Try and cover as much as you can. Be careful that you don't over season it, because sometimes you can be a little bit too overpowering. Just remember, you want to taste the flavor of the beef itself. For today's cook, I'm going to be using my akorn chargriller. I've set up a snake method with plenty of wood there for some smokiness. I've got some mesquite as well as some hickory. So to start it off, what I'm going to do is just fire up some coals, get them nice and hot, and then form the head of my snake. And the head of the snake is always located where the bottom damper is. I always like to use my ThermPro as well here, just so I can get a much more accurate reading for what the temperature is at the grill. My top damper is open, my bottom damper is open. I'm going to be aiming for 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and then once I hit 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to close my top damper to just below the 1 and the bottom damper to just below the 1 as well, which will help me maintain a temperature of about 225 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where I'm now going to put my heat deflector in, as well as some water to help me regulate that temperature. Grill on, and then it's time to hook up the thermometer and put the meat into the grill. I'm going to put my thermometer into the thickest part of the meat so I can keep my eye on the temperature throughout the cook. Alright, so we're 2 hours into the smoke now. I've been maintaining around the 250 degrees Fahrenheit for that duration. The meat itself is almost at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I have not opened this once. Let's go and have a quick look to see how it's going.
I'm not too fussed about a bark today because it's only a small piece of meat, but I do want it to be nice and juicy and tender. A quick spray with some water just to keep it nice and moist. Don't worry about that sound. It's simply because I've opened the grill and I've dropped below 200 degrees.
Now that I'm hitting 160 degrees Fahrenheit internal for this meat, I'm not going to wrap it, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in a foil tray and just leave it sitting in there so I can start collecting those juices. And then once I hit about 175, that's when I'm going to go and get myself some beef stock, put it in the tray, wrap it up to try and get it nice and tender.
What perfect timing for a gust of wind, hey? So, very easily, putting this into my tray, as I said, try and collect some of that fat that's going to be rendering through.
Alright, we are 178 degrees Fahrenheit internal. I've got myself some beef stock, as well as some margarine, which I'm going to put into the bottom of the foil tray, and then wrap it up. But firstly, let's have a look and see how it's going.
I've got a beautiful colour on this piece of meat now, really happy where it's at, so I want to get it nice and tender. The beef stock as well as the margarine will just help with the flavour, as well as getting a little bit of moisture into that meat.
My ThermPro is telling me I'm 195 degrees. I'm aiming for 205, maybe a little bit more because I do want to pull this beef. But I want to go and have a bit of a closer look now anyway. Just feel how tender it is, because it's not necessarily about what the temperature says, it's how it feels. So let's go and check this out. I'm going to turn that ThermPro off so it doesn't go beep, beep, beep and annoy anybody anymore. So the temperature, let's have a little look. Sure enough, it was about that 195 degrees. It was really close. In parts it was tender, but I wanted to give it just a little bit more time before I pulled it off for a rest. And sure enough, 30 minutes later, you can see that thermometer is gliding into the meat beautifully. Time to pull it off, put it into an esky and give it a rest. With this being such a small piece of meat, you don't need to give it a big rest. I gave it a rest for about an hour, and sure enough, it was absolutely fine. So I started pulling it with my claws. I left it in the juices just so I could get a little bit more flavor into the meat as well. It was pulling nicely. I was really happy with what I was feeling. And here we have our pulled beef. These go great in tacos, burgers, pasta, rice, whatever you want. Let's give it the all-important taste test. Oh yeah, yep, it's got a good flavour, it's tender, it's not too spicy, that's delicious. Give it a go, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again in the next one. Catch you later. So we used this pulled beef and put it into some beautiful burritos. It's so versatile, you can use it in many things. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you again in the next one. Stay safe. Catch you later.